Hi, everybody. It's Thursday, and we are Trekker's Delight. I am Marie Vix Brownhill this episode, and I am joined with the inestimable Jermaine and the amazing Keith Shevlin, who are both far better Trek nerds than I am. And we have not one, but two brand new episodes of Lower Decks Season 4 to talk about tonight. So, beautiful bean footage. All right. So we have two episodes. We have Tuvix, and we have I have no bones yet I flee. I believe is the name of the title in the amazing tradition of long, awkward Star Trek titles.
Absolutely.
So, who wants to take the summaries?
Jermaine, do you have something special made? No? Okay.
Jermaine's like, nope. Nope.
Okay. All right, Marie, if you take the second one, I'll do the first one.
Sure, I can try.
Okay. Okay.
All right, back. Take it away.
We are back with our Cerritos crew, not having a cliffhanger at the end of last season. So they're just back to working. And of course, the one change from last season is at the end we were introduced to Provisional Ensign Talin. And she is, of course, now working side by side with Tendi as they're charting hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe. They're on a secret mission, so secret that every other word in the mission order is confidential. But Boimler first has to go clean out the waste in the holodeck. While there, Ransom lets him know, by the way, if today is a good day for you, you might just get that long sought after promotion that you've pined for many a year. So now back on the bridge, they show up at this ultra secret base for their ultra secret mission, which turns out they are escorting the Starship Voyager from where it's been cleaned up to where it will be on station, on display at Starfleet headquarters in San Francisco, which will eventually become part of the Fleet Museum as seen in Picard Season 3. So first they head over to the Voyager, and of course hijinks ensue because the curator, while carefully caring for everything, didn't exactly work out all the bugs. Like, he didn't catch the last of the microvirus from season 3 of Voyager. He didn't catch the last of the Borg nanobites from Cargo Bay 2 that were still there. But he did make sure to add some animatronic lizard babies so they can make their way through. And of course, he installed holo emitters all through the ship. Only 7 years too late for the Doctor, but enough such that when the macrovirus attacks the holodeck and turns on everyone's nightmare fuel, we get the clown, which wasn't, as Mariner points out, wasn't actually a holodeck character, but was still a digital creation. Then of course Dr. Chaotica, and then of course the worst holodeck creature of all, Michael Sullivan from Fairhaven.
Delete the wife.
So the clown and Chaotica start to take over while Michael Sullivan hits on Mariner. You have those crew back on the ship, but while they are transporting things back to the ship before they were ready to leave, accidentally transporting a certain orchid. Some of the petals landed in the transporter while Phillips and Tana were beaming back over, and they are because it's that special orchid from Tuvix. We get Tillips, the combination of Tana and Phillips. Now, unlike the previous Voyager episode, we have that episode to look back at. So Mariner instantly knows, oh, Janeway just straight up killed that guy. While apparently everyone else had to read up on it.
It's canon now, guys. It's canon. Yep. That's murder now.
Yes. So Freeman tries to find the best way around this and points out, like, look, we're not lost in the Delta Quadrant. We could actually go to Starfleet and figure this out. While Tillips decides, oh, hell no. I'm going to go ahead and Tuvix all y'all. So first...
I'm going to need you to say that again. Just.
I'm going to go Tuvix all y'all. Yeah. So first, Freeman mixes with Migliamoo, and then Shax mixed with Barnes, and just all the way down, going through the ship, trying to make them all mix together. While T'Lyn and Tendi are the seemingly two non-affected that are doing their best to try to stop the whole process. T'Lyn is able to take control of a transporter and accidentally, in beaming them all to the brig, combines all of these madness creations together into one giant semi-sentient blob, which Tendi has no problem killing in order to get all of their friends back. Of course, there is the small problem of they can't seem to find their exact genetic markers, which was useful in Tuvix to separate the two, but it just so happens that they can figure out each person's personalities. So T'Lyn learns a valuable lesson about getting to know her fellow crew in order to find out the individual personalities of all the people that need to be saved from this giant blob. Back on Voyager, Boimler, scared to do anything for risk of losing his promotion, runs and hides as the macrovirus takes over. But finally, with Mariner's push, he decides to try to finally step up and save the day, freeze Rutherford, and then they, using the Neelix's stinky cheese, they're able to override the computer, shut down the various holodeck simulations of Dr. Chaotica, the Clown, and Michael Sullivan, wrecking the ship, but still being able to get it back to Earth and seemingly save the day. Back on the Cerritos all together, we have a promotion ceremony where finally Bradford Boimler is given his PIP as Lieutenant Junior grade, as well as Devana Tendi getting hers, and T'Lyn, in only her second episode of being on the ship, gets Lieutenant Junior grade as a provisional officer, and then surprise, Beckett Mariner gets the not at all sought after PIP, making her Lieutenant Junior grade.
And she copes with it as well as you might imagine.
Yes.
And that is largely the subject of the next episode.
But before we get to that, we return to the Klingon bird of prey that was seen in Season 2's Wedge Douche, the episode that introduced us to T'Lyn.
Yep.
As it seems like there's trouble for Captain Morat, the character that we saw that took over the bird of prey in that episode, that there is a junior officer looking to attack him with his spear. But before he could do that, there's a red alert, and there is some sort of thing in space that appears dead. They approach it, and then it starts to power up, and its weapons power up, and amazingly, all the Klingon weapons fail, and the shields go down. And with a single beam of light, the bird of prey is gone, except for the spear and a few fragments, including one large chunk of the hull with the Klingon symbol clearly visible. And thus endeth the story.
Endeth. I love your Shakespeare.
Thus endeth the story. Yes. Now we can talk about this episode, or I can do the summary for the next episode, and then we can talk about both of them together. It's kind of up to you guys.
Let's talk about both of them together, because to be honest with you,
it felt like one episode.
Yeah.
They pair well together. because the second one starts practically exactly where the first one leaves off. So
Exactly. In fact, it does. So we slaughtered Klingons last episode. Well, we think. Nothing's guaranteed in lower decks. So we open. I have no bones and yet I flee. With the slaughter of Romulans, who are very unhappily cleaning up after torturing a Reman. Apparently, Reman juice just gets everywhere. Just everywhere, y'all. It's a problem.
Love it.
Right?
That sounds like a good drink on a nice Saturday night.
I'm a little concerned now, Jermaine. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna say no.
I mean, my Saturday nights are not that exciting anymore, but you know, you do you. So yes, so basically the same sort of creepy looking object in space. Does anybody else notice that it has kind of a weird smiley face thing going on?
Yeah,
It creeped me out a little. It obliterates the Romulans, and then we flash to the Cerritos, and basically Mariner is unhappy with her promotion. Really unhappy with her promotion. And so she goes to start working out, and grumpily, because everything is grumpy, she's resolved that she's going to do something to get rid of her own I just this image, man. I've been derailed.
It reminded me too much of Troy and Crusher. I just
They're the same outfits.
I know.
It's the same outfits. It's the same routine. It's the whole 9 yards, right? And they're also talking about men, which I believe is the subject of the conversation in that scene as well.
I just want to see more of the package. That's all. I just want to see more of the package.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Excuse me. Okay.
Will.
I know, right? William can't be here because he has no power, so apparently I have to channel my inner Walford. So grumpily, having resolved that she's going to find a way to get herself demoted, she goes to the gym where she is treated to that image that is now permanently burnt onto my retinas. And she hears Ransom tell Shax that she is no longer going to be his problem. And that just sends her into a tailspin, right? So she's going to be the most insubordinate of insubordinate to ever have insubordinated across the insubordinate Earth, right? Like, she is taking this and dialing up to 11. So she goes with Ransom on this away mission to a menagerie because, you know, that's what we have to have. They're actually, like, Starfleet has contacted the Cerritos to go track down this menagerie because apparently this particular menagerie picked up some humans by accident and has been using them as a attraction. Hi,
Michael.
has been using them as an attraction. And Mariner is just resolved to just tank this mission. They get Mariner, Ransom, Random Ensign, get on the shuttle. They go. It's a really nice menagerie. It looks like everything looks like it's a pretty well kept zoo as far as that goes. Narj, the tree gent, is very apologetic, and Mariner proceeds to just be an absolute jerk, right? Mm-hmm. About the whole thing. Meanwhile, there is this really adorable critter, and y'all are gonna have to help me remember the name because it's Moopsie, that's right, because that's what it says. The Moopsie, right? It's adorable. She looks at it. Marco, you're hurting my feelings. Where's the love for me? Also, I have to admit, like, I really wanted you to be here because Voyager is your jam, and 2 Vix is very much a Voyager episode. But anyway, going back to Bones. Mariner talks to this adorable little thing and then kind of like moves off. Later, they're all they come to the human enclosure. They're about ready to retrieve the humans. Only we discover that Moopsie has escaped its enclosure. And Mariner's like, why is this terrifying? While Narj is literally losing his mind. And he goes, you don't understand. Everything in here is dangerous. That will drink your bones. And everyone's like, do it?
How is that even possible?
Do it now? And sure enough, the Moopsie turns into a giant horror show and proceeds to drink bones. and everybody runs. Moopsie corners them. Moopsie kills Narj. Then Ransom has the genius idea to tell Mariner to punch him in the face and knock out his teeth, because they're going to use that to lure Moopsie into different places and get him back into his enclosure so that they can, prevent the menagerie from falling into the planet. That's successful. Meanwhile, Mariner and Ransom have a really great heart-to-heart where they're basically like, he's like, I believe in you, and you've been sabotaging yourself. And Mariner has once again, yet another self-realization about how she's been destroying her own life.
Yeah.
I mean, I get doing the work. I really do, y'all. But at some point, I'm really starting to wonder, is her just lack of self-awareness an infinite resource? These are the questions.
Definitely appears that way.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Back on the Cerritos, Boimler's trying to get into new quarters that don't suck, and he's not having a lot of luck with that. Rutherford, who wasn't promoted last episode, is now sad because he's realized that he and Tendi can't be friends anymore, or at least they think so. So he proceeds to attempt to do something incredible in order to get promoted. And now we have a new malevolent force on the Cerritos, Luvic. Ensign Luvic, who's a Wunderkind, has managed to do everything Rutherford has wanted to do. And at the end of the day, it looks like Luvic is about to get the pip that Rutherford so desperately wants. And basically Rutherford confesses to Tendi, yeah, I gave up all of those amazing promotions because I didn't want to be away from you and it made me sad. And she's like, well, why don't you just go back and take one? And he's like, well, I can't do that. In engineering, you really have to do something. And so she looks over at Billups and she's like, hey, Billups, can he get his pip? And Billups is like, yeah, sure, whatever. Tosses the pip. And now we have yet another Lieutenant Junior grade. We have the hat trick, as it were. They all move into their new quarters, and that's where we are jumping off to the next episode.
Thank God we discovered how to tint windows.
I thought that was hilarious.
Anybody else wonder about that?
Like somebody else has had to have that problem, right? Well, the cells are usually back up high or something like that. They're usually pretty.
You can't tell me they don't have shades.
They gotta have automatic. I mean,
right?
I'm
not even asking if you have some sort of like magic clicker that just tints your windows automatically. I'm not even asking for that. Although I feel like by this point in the future they should do that.
They go by stars and pulsars and really big things. So really big bright things. I'm pretty sure there's automatic shading built into those windows.
Well, I would have thought we just ran across a Voyager episode. Why didn't we bring back the armor? And they could have just armored the windows, and that's it.
Well,
yeah, but that would make too much sense.
That would be opaque, though.
But they left the armor in the Delta Quadrant. Remember all those great things Voyager discovered? They left in the Delta Quadrant.
Section 31 has them.
Yeah.
All right. So we now know what happened in the episode. So we want to start with a discussion of Voyager.
Yeah, they had a lot of Voyager.
Did anybody else have a moment when the theme song started playing?
Yeah,
because I did.
Beautiful.
They had a lot of Voyager episodes going on in there.
Oh, before we get to that though, there was an addition to the opening credits.
I noticed they were different.
I mean,
well, seeing that this is the 4th season, they decided to add something from the 4th movie, Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, and the malevolent.
Oh yeah, you mean
floating
the noise? I heard the noise.
Well, the noise was there, but during the fight with the Packlids and the crystalline entity and the Borg, they have now added the giant black tube that flew through space in Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home.
Right, and obviously the shuttle that they're in is very reminiscent of the shuttle at the end of The Voyage Home. You know, like they're gonna give us a barge or whatever.
Yeah.
Did we mention the random ship that's apparently just knocking out all weapons and abilities?
Yeah, no, we did. And it has a really creepy smiley face, and I feel uncomfortable. I feel like I need to touch. I show you on the doll where it touches me.
I would show you
right here,
cells, but I lost in a cell somehow.
Oh, you lost in the cell. The creepy ship is touching me where you lost in the cell.
I have like 20 spaceships right now in like a can. This was hilarious.
Right.
And I'm watching this with my
Jermaine's just
dad.
torturing me with this, which I feel desperately is unfair. Also, I really love the branding on the bottom of the shoe, by the way.
Yep. Right?
Well, that was a great thing.
I didn't check, but I'm pretty sure those are the exact outfits they had on.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, they 100% are. The space probe.
Yes. But yeah, even in the crossover episode, when they panned up on Boimler in the bio bed in sickbay, he had the branding on the bottom of the shoe.
He did.
They carried it through.
He did. I was like, oh. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I want those boots. Like, let's be real. But
I wonder what Berman like. We got to add some
$400
to this show. Let's have them do splits.
all right. So, do we want to do Easter eggs first, or do we want to talk about what actually happens?
There's so many Easter eggs, especially
Let's do Easter
in
eggs.
the first one.
Let's do Easter eggs. Obviously, we have the Voyager theme song, which we've already mentioned. We have the terrible lizard babies.
Yep. We have the reference to
Threshold.
Needles. We have uniforms of almost every character. We have references to Chakotay and Cargo Bay 2 with the nanites. You have
That wasn't lizard babies. I think that was actually replicas of Janeway and Paris.
Yeah.
There's two big ones.
Either way, Threshold is another one of those episodes that just didn't happen. I refuse to acknowledge.
Wait a minute. Does this mean Kate Mulgrew now has made an appearance in Lower Deck? Oh, okay.
Kate Mulgrew's hair has made an appearance in Lower Decks.
Her uniform, yeah.
But we still have not seen Janeway in Lower Decks now.
No. Yeah, so far we saw a picture of Tuvok and we had Tom Paris. So that's all we've
had. And we had
from
Tuvok's hair as well. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Did you notice like in the following episode that the plate definitely moved with Boimler?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, and how about a mirror? He had Mirror Archer.
I know.
Archer in the original series before.
Oh, I didn't notice the Mirror Archer.
Where was Mirror
Oh
Archer?
yeah, no. Like I have mad
In his
envy
box that he
of.
was carrying around.
Is that who that
They
was?
almost dropped.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
they did drop.
Yeah, when he got in his first quarters, he went, "Oh no, Mirror Archer!"
Like,
By
I'm
the
not gonna
way-
lie, I have like mad envy of his action figure collection.
Yeah, it's
Right.
really good.
By the way, you have to look a little hard, but
But yep,
Yes.
there's the poster.
add Asper per Asper.
Mhm.
You also see when he moves into the Jeffries tube. But what's fascinating
What is
about it
that
is you
picture?
never see
What-
Una on it though. Like all you see is the text.
What is that picture he's got on the wall? Pretty
Looks like standard Federation art.
like
Oh,
people's souls falling through something.
Yeah.
no,
It's
Nice
weird.
ducks.
I mean, have you ever looked at what's on the walls in the original series? There's some seriously frightening shit on there. Some seriously frightening shit.
Of course, we had the Bride of Chaotica
Yep.
episode.
Yeah, they mentioned a Captain Proton.
Captain Proton. They got Fairhaven in there.
We got the Borg.
Got the Borg.
Yep. Yeah, the
Got it.
large section of Borg regeneration stations, even though we only had like 2 people that needed them. But sure,
Well,
you do
when
you.
they first
Well,
set
when
it
they
up,
first-
there were 6 of them, and then they flushed 5 of them out the
Yeah.
airlock, and 7 of 9 only survived because she was in a Jeffries tube at the time.
So yeah, except that like let's talk about the fact that you don't actually need them anymore, and you could repurpose that space.
Well,
Right,
yeah,
but it's
but
part of
for
Voyager's
the
story now.
for the museum, he's just put them in there because that was a pivotal point. And
But
And we also had Neelix in the galley.
Mm-hmm.
it was the first first time that that they teamed up with the Borg.
I didn't see any references to Species 8472, but they did have lots of little. Every chance they got, they had something little from episodes in the corner or on the side, especially in the final shot where they're walking through the mess hall and they had the little exhibits behind the ropes. And,
Yes.
You had Neelix cheese.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's-
they just couldn't show the Kazon any love, and I'm disappointed.
the Kazon deserve no love.
They're literally the Klingons. They're the Klingons from Wish. Okay.
No, they wish they were the Klingons from Wish.
Oh, so they're the Klingons from Temu. Gotcha.
Mm.
Wait, who would
Right.
fight? Who would win between the fight of Kazons and Klingons?
The Klingons.
Oh, Klingons.
Yeah, heads down.
Who would win
Okay.
between a fight between the Klingons and Seska?
I mean, Seska would
Seska?
poison them all.
She would
and
outsmart
or
him.
find one to sleep with to like coerce, whatever. I mean, I really loved Captain Freeman's line. This very strange day of weirdly Voyager-esque shenanigans, and I was like, yep.
Yeah, especially it's like we have a problem. How do we solve it? It's a Voyager problem. You got to do a Voyager solution. Just the weird, wacky shit.
Right.
They killed Tuvix.
Just she said it so proudly. Just send me her logs. I'll do whatever she did.
Right.
And then meanwhile, like Beckett Mariner is over like, she straight up murdered that guy, right? Like,
right.
And I love how we kind of flirted with the ethical dilemma, and we're like, we're gonna make Starfleet Command deal with this. We're gonna make them deal with it, and then it just goes straight to hell. And I guarantee you, by the way, like the sheer mania of what happens with Tillips is the Tana part.
Oh yeah, Billups is just chilling there. It's like
no, Billups is the one who's like, I know how to make this. I know how to do this. Tana, on the other hand, is the malevolent intelligence that nearly created an army.
She's like, here's the malevolent plan. He's like, here are my malevolent hands.
Right. And there's Shax is all like, do you have her memories? Do you remember what I look like?
Right. What I did to you special times.
No. What you did to me.
Right. 100%.
And what she did to Peter Pan too.
Judging by the holodeck scene, I think it's what she did to him.
Yeah.
No.
And I think it's hilarious that Boimler's room was like in between two holodecks with thin walls.
I think Captain Freeman as president of the Federation. I love it.
No, president of Starfleet. Yeah.
Oh, president of Starfleet. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, I gotta tell you, like, I would find reasons to not be home.
Yeah.
To not be home during Shax's Tana time. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah, that is weird though that they had that one spaceship that's like murdering Klingons and Romulans, and they just didn't carry on with any story with that whatsoever. It's like next week it's just gonna show up and kill a bunch of Nausicaans for no reason.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
But we also get like 5 minutes of them on the ship doing stuff, like talking. Like, let's just create a dialogue for like 3 minutes.
So in other words, that ship is what we thought the Gorn were going to be in this past season of Strange New Worlds.
Right. Basically.
But can we talk about how Marie is not okay with Tuvix being murdered, but she's encouraging the murder of Nausicans?
Oh no, I have no emotional attachment to Tuvix whatsoever.
Well, Nausicans are,
No. At this point, like, I'm waiting for the gag. Like, and I'm not even convinced that they're dead necessarily, despite the fact that like we had the floating spear and then the floating captain's chair, which I thought was a nice touch.
And it was like a beam. It looked like they materialized or dematerialized.
Right. I mean, this could very much also be like a gotta catch 'em all situation, and this is like an interstellar Pokeball.
Could be, yeah. I must say, wasn't a big fan of how duplicitous the Romulans were. Like they're constantly trying to backstab each other. That just didn't seem very.
I was trying to remember.
Have you heard
is that
of
a thing with them?
Well, I have heard of Tal Shiar, but this just seemed a little bit more underhanded.
This was over the top, right?
Yeah.
These were caricature Romulans. They weren't Romulans, which is Keith's problem. I, on the other hand, am just sitting here kind of like, yeah, that's par for the course in Nordex.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was par for the course.
Scheming Romulans, and I'm going to scheme. I'm going to scheme better than you while I scrub off Riemann juice. And like the very sort of blasé chucking of the body bag into the trash receptacle.
Yeah.
Like during that whole conversation. This was very definitely a much bloodier.
And how there's like torturing Riemanns is just like part of the job, but it's so messy. You know what I mean?
They just have so much blood, man. It's really a problem. How dare they have circulatory systems?
Right. Seriously, they should be more considerate of their Romulan torturers.
Right.
Do you realize how much of a mess they have to clean up now?
I mean, even the captain was scrubbing some off.
Yeah.
Bro, my computer is dead. This is very a problem.
What did we hit all the episodes? I think we hit all of our Easter eggs though from episode 1.
No, I don't think we hit all of them, but we hit a good job.
There are so many.
I had some written down. I didn't bring it up, but I think mine were pretty obvious. The Thaw. They had the Thaw.
Yep.
The clown from the Thaw, which was another moment of Janeway just being just like not evil, but like not giving a fuck.
She was so good in that episode.
He was like, I'm afraid. Since she's like, I know. He was happy to tell. I know. Be afraid.
Well, the clown was so expertly done by Michael McKean in that episode, and the way they dealt with him was fantastic. So.
We've certainly mentioned Fairhaven. I appreciated the random safety protocols.
Yeah.
Right.
That is a very Voyager thing.
And
microcosm. Macrocosm.
Yeah.
That was obvious.
Mariner being into Michael Sullivan was a surprise, but
Right.
Hey,
I mean, he's literally designed for people to be into him. Like that was his point.
Yeah, I think that was it.
So did Janeway actually do the thing with him? Probably, yeah.
More than likely.
All right, Ensign Sirius says hello.
Oh, and of course they did have mentioned that Pike thing that we're not supposed to talk about.
Right.
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 Have they ever mentioned Discovery?
No.
Because they're not supposed to know about it.
I doubt they will.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like Discovery is that ship of which we do not speak.
Right.
And,
Sarah.
And their big thing has always been to go off of classic Trek, either 90s Trek or the animated series. And
I guess they haven't done... Series. Well, Discovery is supposed to be hush-hush anyway, just by its very nature. So they shouldn't know about it.
No one should ever discover Discovery in the Federation until 900 years from now.
Right.
So that's the thing.
But what else you got? Oh, Picard and Strange New World. Oh, they do mention Pike, though. So they mention Pike.
Yeah, they mention Pike. But mostly in the context of that Pike thing of which we do not speak.
And by the way, at the end of the second episode, when we did see Boimler and Rutherford moving into quarters together, the project that Rutherford was messing with on the floor was the portable tractor beam as created by Wesley Crusher in the second episode of The Next Generation.
I kind of missed a couple of minutes there because I ended up doing something. So,
all right, so we want to shift to Bones now and talk about Easter eggs there. Obviously, Menagerie.
Yeah.
Menagerie has multiple flavors.
Yeah, including the animated series had a Menagerie episode as well.
Yep. And we had a space station crashing into the planet below, or racing to crash into a planet below. Like, how many times have we seen that?
Yeah.
How many? Like, let's embrace the tropes.
Twice.
We're humans being the worst.
Right.
Yeah. And, so
what was the deal with those humans, though? What was the deal with them in there? Where they were really captured? What were they doing with the panel? Like, I don't get it. Were they trying to get out?
No, they wanted to take over.
Yeah.
Oh, so they
saw this as a money-making opportunity, right? They just had to get rid of Narj.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So they were purposefully captured.
Right.
By the way,
I'm not sure that's true, but I think they definitely had paid attention and were like, he's making scads of money off of us. We could make scads of money off of us.
But the name of the episode is based off a Harlan Ellison short story, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
So, well, that's terrible.
I'm still confused. I'm still actually confused as to how, like, oh god, what is it again? Meepoo?
Moopsie.
Man.
Moopsie.
So who's gonna have a cat named Moopsie?
I mean, I feel like DeForest Kelly trying to get the Magato thing straight.
Yeah.
They're gonna sell.
It must be a Georgia thing, y'all. Because I cannot remember Moopsie to save my life. Although I gotta tell you, I kind of want Paramount to release a Moopsie like plushie that also turns into like the scary version. Like
and you hit the button, it blows up.
I mean, I'm gonna win Mother of the Year because my children are already afraid of my stuffed tribbles. Man, what are they gonna do with the Moopsie?
I feel like there was this perfect scene or a perfect clip of the Moopsie when they like zoomed in, and I was like, "Oh my god, this should be a Pokemon." And I'm like,
I really loved that. Like, I mean, I should have seen this coming. I really should have, because it looked like the Menagerie looked too chill. There it is. The Menagerie looked too chill, and I'm like, "Oh, look, it's a relatively well-maintained zoo. It didn't necessarily automatically proc for me that it was going to be like a menagerie of horrors.
Well, like they had the flying snake in the center, which was an animated series
reference.
creature.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Quetzalcoatl.
Yep.
I have to admit, I don't think I've seen all the animated series.
Hey, now's a good time to watch them. There's 22 of them. It's 50th anniversary of the release. Check them out.
I've watched them all.
Some of them are great.
Yeah.
Some.
You know, and if you run out of time, you can always just fly backwards and you'll create some more time.
You have an episode where Uhura takes charge of the ship and tells all the men to sit down and shut up.
The Lorelei signal?
Yes.
Yeah. And yet somehow the men managed to save the day. Like you can see what they're trying to do with the Lorelei signal, and the follow through is just not there.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Maybe I'll give that a go. I owe it to myself.
Yes, you do.
I
believe in you, Jason.
I guess we could also talk a little bit about like Mariner's arc here. Like,
yeah. Well, we saw earlier,
trophy.
She was promoted to lieutenant before, and of course sabotaged to get herself demoted back down.
Yep.
And she has been lieutenant, and she said she's even been higher than lieutenant junior grade, and got demoted back down. This is not where she wanted to be.
I'm kind of upset that they got promoted. Like, I wanted to keep lower decks and have them talking in bunk beds.
Well,
right?
I mean, unlike all of these other promotions that we've seen across other series, they didn't just get full lieutenants out of nowhere. They at least got lieutenant junior grade. So they're still. I mean,
they're still moving further along than Harry Kim ever did. But
yes,
good old Harry.
So somewhere Garrett Wong is like, really?
Yeah.
Cartoon?
That was
first of all, Harry got the worst of that treatment in all the episodes. Like, he was all like, the shit was always hitting the fan with him.
No, the worst will always be O'Brien on Deep Space Nine. Make O'Brien suffer. And he didn't even get to be an officer. He was a senior chief petty officer.
No, but he was like, shit didn't happen to him that was like completely like disrespectful all the time. It just like, he just had to.
Dude, what were you watching?
I don't know.
I mean,
you talking about when he went to jail for?
He gets stuck in prisons how many times? Including one that doesn't exist.
Right. But he remembers.
Then there's the one where he has to bail Esri out, like with her mafia connections.
He has to watch himself die like the whole episode. He keeps watching himself get killed.
Yeah. He had to kill himself twice.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's got to be some kind of Trek record, man.
I don't know. I guess because Harry Kim just seems like more like, oh, they're doing that to Harry again. Like, he just can't catch a break.
Yeah.
I mean, Harry Kim only dies once.
Yeah.
And I feel like O'Brien should have played more with that. Like, after he went to prison for like a life sentence, pretty much, they should have played. They tried to play with that a little bit, his like PTSD, but he didn't have enough PTSD for me. He should have had more.
Who? O'Brien?
He almost killed himself over
he literally.
I think he still should have had more.
He had a phaser under his chin, was ready to fire if Bashir had just walked in on him.
Yo,
in the cargo bay.
When I came to this podcast today, I was not expecting to hear Jason want to kill O'Brien. Like, that just was not on my.
I don't want to kill O'Brien. Oh no! I just
no. You wanted to make O'Brien kill himself. That's what
O'Brien, the greatest Starfleet officer
drag it out.
of all time.
They should drag it out longer. His PTSD out longer. You know, and
well, I have to do my disclaimer.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I'm sitting here wondering if I should have said unalive, but here we are.
You're in a red shirt.
We're here now. If you or anyone you know is thinking about hurting yourself, please dial 988 and get the help and assistance you need anywhere in the United States. Again, dial 988 and get the help that you need. Oh, that's outdated.
And remember that similar
now.
resources are available in your country of origin, wherever that may be.
I don't know if you're aware that my nephew just killed himself like 2 months ago. Were you aware of that? I don't know.
No.
I would think you remember you telling us about that.
Yeah, so that was kind of crazy. It was when I was in Israel, actually.
My
So
condolences.
anyway, Star
Yes.
Trek. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
I
was just
honestly
saying
God
that
don't know how to come back from this, guys.
to-
I don't.
I was just saying that to confirm that what Captain
But
Greer is saying is a real thing. Not that you didn't know it wasn't a real
people
thing,
need help. People definitely need help, and 988 can help. But when it comes to Mariner, at least she has one person helping her.
Yes.
I love that. I love that Ransom
Look at
is
this dude
just
segueing-
determined. He is angrily
Segway Sam
going
over
this
there.
way.
Hey, Segway Sam. No, go ahead. Go ahead,
But
though.
to Marie, to your point about Mariner's arc here, I really was getting upset at the beginning of this episode because I was like, we've already seen her sabotage herself like through multiple episodes before.
And
Why
we've
are
already
they
seen
just
her deal with it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that was one of those parts that I think was really awkward. If we had tried to make some sort of point about her discomfort, and and actually like processed a little bit about why she's so uncomfortable moving up the ranks and shifting jobs, and if we maybe talked a little bit about like why is there a relationship there with expectations? Is she uncomfortable? Does she have like imposter syndrome? Like any of that would have been new territory. But that's not what we do here. It's literally just, hey, you're sabotaging yourself. Stop it.
But I think that they've set up the rest of the season.
She doesn't want the responsibility, and she doesn't want to become, quote, the man. You know what I mean? She doesn't want to be.
Jason, I get where you're going. I think it might end up being some of that, but I really felt like they set up the next series, the next part or the season, in saying she's about to take that journey to understand why she's about to sabotage herself or why she continuously does this. Just like with the ship in the beginning.
Maybe, but then again, we've teased that how many seasons now?
Yeah.
But we got right to the point this time, like episode 1. So, or episode 2, excuse me.
But
are you guys tired of her messing up her own promotions?
A little bit, because I mean it's very much, and I get that this is real. This happens in real life. I really do. But like with Mariner, it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back, right? Like I mean, Paula Abdul is like singing in the back, because like she's like, okay, I'm gonna make these 2 steps forward and like recognizing the value of my friendship with Boimler, or the relationship with my mom, or my own competence.
She's singing with the cat.
Well, one thing you can do with like cartoons is you create characters that people like, and then you're able to keep those characters. And it's a less of a serious journey.
So
Michael,
Jason, you're on mute.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute.
Oh, I thought you were telling me like something secretly.
But I just love that everybody has that like Tuvix pattern clothing.
I noticed that. Yeah,
right.
Every merger had that on there. I was like, what's going on with that?
This is how we track you down.
That's how the flower works.
Yeah,
right. That's how
it's from Neelix's clothing in the original, but yeah, it just everybody has it.
It was just so horrible in Voyager, and they're like, you know what? We're gonna carry that on, and everyone's gonna live with this scarlet letter on your chest.
I mean,
he was really weird looking.
That describes literally every piece of fabric that Neelix ever encountered. Neelix was definitely the inheritor of the 90s awkward, like god awful bargain bin upholstery costume.
And is he just replicating this stuff?
Yeah. As soon as he got on the ship, he made his
in
own
the computer.
outfit. Yeah.
Why are these patterns in the computer?
I really feel like the stage crew were like, costume was like, listen, man, we're running low on budget. We got these couches from the 60s and 70s. We just got to do what we got to do.
Right. So
I'm serious. I think a lot of them were fabric scraps. I think a lot of them were bargain basement upholstery that nobody wanted to put on their couches. So they were like, they could get it for pennies on the dollar.
It's like, we made this fantastic suit for Quark on Deep Space Nine, but here's the scrap, so you make something for Neelix out of that.
Right? Man, every outfit Quark had was just amazing.
Absolutely.
It's just amazing. Weird, but amazing.
Well,
but I guess Neelix, though, you know, that's
right.
That's why it was always interesting to have Neelix Tuvok episodes because they're so distant from each other's characters.
Right.
By the way, I was really hoping in the first episode that the voice of the curator was actually Ethan Phillips. It sounded enough like him that I was hoping it was him, but no, we weren't that lucky.
No, we were not.
Yeah, I thought it was. I was like, oh, they have him doing two voices. Good job.
Yeah, but I feel like his species was also an allusion to something, but I can't remember what the name of the species was.
Yeah, we've seen that species before. I just can't. Let me see if I can track it down.
He looked like he was evolved corn. I was good.
Right, but also the fact that he doesn't really get a
species
name.
before.
He's just the caretaker because that wasn't the title of the first episode of Voyager.
Right.
Beljo Tweakle is his name.
We haven't seen that species before.
Not in this series.
I mean, at all. The caretaker of the menagerie?
No, we're talking about the curator of Voyager.
Right, the curator.
But
you can't tell me. You can't tell me that they're not like making a snide wink at caretaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and we for sure have not seen the tree people before. He was new. Narj.
Oh, that was Andy Richter. The comedian Andy Richter is Beljo Tweakle.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't listed in the cast list, so okay.
So what do we expect to see tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow is Star Trek Day.
Right.
So you're going to have on StarTrek.com/day, you'll have Jerry O'Connell hosting a panel discussion. They're supposed to show us something of Discovery Season 5.
I think we're going to get some. I think we're going to get some commentary with Tawny Newsome and Eugene Cordero.
Yep. Yeah.
I'd be excited to see Discovery.
And then, of course, in select cities, you have the animated celebration tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I was lucky enough to find a ticket and got tickets for my girls, so we're all going tomorrow. So
that's awesome.
Wait, you're going where?
The Star Trek animated celebration they're having at East Street Cinema in DC tomorrow. And
DC gets all the good stuff.
No, it's in like 12 different cities.
Is it in Chicago?
It's in Chicago, yes.
Hmm.
See, we talked about this 2 weeks ago.
I know. I remember you saying.
No, because you actually didn't have a ticket. You'd surrendered your ticket so that your girls could go.
Yes, but a good friend of mine got 2 tickets, and I thought he and his wife were going, but then he was trying to get another friend to go, and then that person fell through. So I'm using the other ticket. So
I wasn't 2 weeks ago. Was when I was traveling. I was driving from Chicago to Jersey. So I was really in and out that episode.
Yeah, but we also have a new episode of Star Trek releasing tomorrow.
A new episode?
Yes.
Well, I thought it was like an 8-minute short.
Yes, it's called Star Trek Very Short Treks Skin the Cat, done in the style of the animated series. The first of 8 mini episodes, all called Very Short Treks, that will be released weekly on Wednesdays. So the first one tomorrow, the next one next Wednesday. So we'll have 2 episodes to talk about next week as well, because we'll have a Lower Decks and a Very Short Trek.
I kind of miss the short treks. I like when those are going on. I know they put those on because they didn't have any other Star Trek going on.
I am also really hoping that none of the short treks are going to be as depressing as some of the previous short treks were.
The looks of them all look like they're comedy.
I hope they actually do something with them. But they also did make the disclaimer, these are not canon. So
yeah, they went ahead.
No, I don't think it needs to connect. It doesn't really need to connect to any story they do connect, but I think they're fine the way they are, being on their own.
I mean, they just brought up so many really good points in the original the original short treks, and I'm like, oh my god, this could set up so many great things.
And it did to a degree, because like we got Poe was introduced in the short trek, then came back later, and
Where's Zola? Where's Zola?
We have Zola.
Yeah,
Zola is
Zora. Isn't it Zora?
Zora, thank you.
It's Zora. Yeah, but like, I mean, I kind of want to know if Hardison, because that was his character on Leverage, makes it back home. Like, I really want to know.
Yeah, with that if they end Discovery right, they end Discovery with Kraft and Calypso.
Right.
Yeah, but what's
Where's
yeah,
the girl?
it really makes me want to know what happens. Like if they're saying, are you saying it's not canon, so it's not connected to the show? Because to me, I feel like it is canon for Discovery, and I want to know.
No, the very short treks that they're going to release start tomorrow. Those are not canon. Okay. Yeah, these are just fun little things done in the style of the animated series from the 70s. So what we have a Saru episode. There's a Hemmer birthday party episode, which is fantastic. You have an episode where the Lower Decks cast go on the holodeck on Deep Space Nine and end up hanging out with Eric's and the other animated series crew.
Do you think you feel it was necessary to make Hemmer blind? Because he's only blind by title. He's not blind at all. Like,
I mean,
the actor is blind.
Yeah, he's
the actor is blind.
Yeah.
Yes, the actor
but I'm saying like,
and the subspecies is blind.
Yes. If he was Andorian,
right.
Andorian
instead of just making him a regular Andorian.
Well, they decided to use an actor who was actually visually disabled, and they used a species that was already established in canon as being naturally visually disabled, so as well as telepathic.
Well, he wasn't disabled at all. Not one little bit.
Well, he's just that awesome.
Yeah,
he's awesome. I was just asking a question. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have. I was just asking your opinion on it. That's all.
How do we think our new Vulcan crew member is going to fit in as we're kind of like seeing her arc? I feel like during the episode, you think she'll fit in well?
I do. Yes. I think she is. I think the crazy is strong with Talen, honestly, because that was very much like I was originally trying to get back to Vulcan, but now I've seen the insanity on this particular ship, and I'm down. I'm down.
She likes Tendi, and Boimler seems to tolerate her. We didn't really see Mariner interact with her, but everyone else seems to, deal with her.
Well, I mean, she has her Maquis/provisional rankings, so I guess she's a part of the crew for real, for real.
Yeah. Well, funny. Well, it's funny. On the Lower Decks mobile game, the event that's happening this weekend is Cisco is trying to help the ship break free of Badgie's control by organizing a baseball game. And he gets Talen to start. He goes, "Oh, I know this game. In fact, I played a few years ago for the Logicians." To which goes, "All right, enough distractions. Everyone out in the field."
That's funny. Even though
I don't even know what to say about that. Like,
even though I did get kicked out of somebody's group on the Star Trek game, mostly because I wasn't playing enough, but I still got kicked out.
Dude, you weren't keeping up, man.
I still want to play
here for months.
For reality. I'd like to try getting into that. William said he had it as well.
It is on my list. It's on my list, but there's also a new Star Trek game that I may or may not get the opportunity to review, so we'll have to see how that goes.
Marie gets to do all the fun stuff.
Marie does not get
to
review
it with you.
Let's see. Let's see if things come through first. I do actually have a review for the Prodigy game though.
That's gonna be lit.
It's already out. It's been out for quite some time. It's not
Supernova, right?
Yep, it's Supernova.
Have you played it?
I wish I was more of a gamer.
Not yet.
I've been a gamer my entire life, dude.
I mean, I have my Switch. It's sitting there. Like I have it. Like I'm waiting. I just need the extra time to do it.
Prodigy's on Switch.
Supernova is, yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing. Zelda
I think it's also PS5, but I'm not sure. I have not joined the PlayStation Mafia.
If Paramount was paying us for all these mentions and name droppings we do, we would have time to review games. That'd
be phenomenal, but
we know you're listening.
No, they'd more likely to come and sue us. So let's just keep our heads low and just keep doing what we're doing.
They're not listening until we put some illegal footage on here.
Exactly. They're like, you're just showing screenshots. You can get away with that.
Roll that voyage home footage.
I mean, I feel relatively safe because, Jermaine is far away from the computer, so we're not going to get stuck. We're not going to get stuck with the terrible stretching montage.
Jermaine, you've been so detached for like the past 10 minutes.
Jermaine ain't said nothing this whole episode.
We're talking about Star Trek. Have you watched?
No, I've see, before you all came on, I was engaged, and once you all came along, there was, I'm here. I'm just listening. I've been posting comments. Right. You all haven't been, responding to my comments, but that's all right.
Oh. Captain Greer's gone.
Red
alert! I got my vaccine. I have not gotten the vaccine in a while. Anyway.
Okay.
I like how they said everybody was inoculated from the
macrovirus. Like it's not gonna. It's not gonna hurt you. But I'm watching that thing like try to stab Boimler, and I'm going. Yeah. I mean, it might not make him sick, but that looks really uncomfortable.
Being stabbed with something always is something you don't want to happen. I don't care if I'm going to die from it or not.
What's interesting is that was the first attempt at a CGI alien in Star Trek. That's when they made the macrocosm virus.
I do remember. Do you remember how weird and pixelated it was when Jake grabbed it?
Yeah.
It was like the doctor was grabbing it, and he was.
Well, I remember them advertising it as a special Star Trek event, and just seeing, Janeway in the tank top going through the ship with the gun, like the special Star Trek event
with her little random sweat stains
that were artfully painted on, right? Oh man.
Janeway in the tank.
That's my girl. Y'all can't talk about her y'all can't talk about her too much though. Like, that's my
Janeway?
Girl. Murderer and all. That's my girl.
I really love just how that episode really just sort of engaged with this fandom argument that's been going on forever, right? Like the justice for Tuvix,
No, that's my girl. I mean, he had to go.
By the way,
I think they should go back and do a whole episode of Voyager: Year of Hell, and now they have CGI where they can fix everybody's face and make it look like they were back then.
Paramount doesn't have the money for that. They don't have the money for Discovery. They definitely don't have the money for that.
The money for Equalizer, right?
Yeah. But Titmouse, the animation studio that made Lower Decks, has been doing their T-shirt releases for each episode. They released the 2 T-shirts for today. And for the first episode, it's a picture of Voyager with spray painted over top of it, "Justice for Tuvix." And for the second episode, it's a readout on Moopsie, with the graphics and everything. And I got the email, looked at it a half an hour after they posted it. Both sold out already.
I am really sad. I would have wanted a Justice for Tuvix, actually.
I want to know how many names they went through before they landed on Moopsie. They had to
I just want to know how much drinking was going on that they came up with Moopsie.
After the genius of Peanut Hamper, they didn't have to go through much to come up with Moopsie. Like
they just found a random Pokemon name generator on the internet, and that's how we got Moopsie.
They have the magic. They have the magic. Like if anybody who comes up with the name Peanut Hamper, you have the magic.
Right. Well, Peanut Hamper works because it's so unbelievably ridiculous.
Moopsie?
And it makes it Moopsie is, it's kind of
Peanut Hamper's entire existence is just ridiculous.
What's the visual equivalent of an onomatopoeia? There's got to be a thing,
face,
right?
Like Moopsie's face in that one close up.
Yeah, it looks like a Moopsie. It's like, Moopsie. It looks like a Moopsie.
Batman 66.
Ooh.
Batman 66, where they did put the pow and kapow on the screen.
Yeah. But there's got to be a literary term for that, right?
Sometimes you just can't get rid of a BOMB.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, we're running out of time.
We are. So obviously next week we will be covering the short treks and the new episode of Lower Decks. Do we have a title for that yet?
Officially, no, but there was leaked titles a couple weeks ago. The leaked title is In the Cradle of Vexilon. So whether that's actually the episode, we don't know. That doesn't look like they did a ready room today. Probably not because of everything tomorrow. Usually that's where they do the announcement. But if the rumor was right on the first 2 episodes, so if the rumor holds, then In the Cradle of Vexilon next week.
Do we know?
That is
Do we know
pretty
Vexilon? Is that a thing already?
As far as I know.
Let me check old Memory Alpha. And looks like no results found for Vexilon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great name, though.
You know what? Let me tell you why Keith is amazing. He was like Memory Alpha, just started clicking. He's like the ultimate science officer, has Memory Alpha on like bookmarked. He does like it's when he opens up his
3 tabs open already.
like
He's a database. I told you how he took me around Washington D.C. and told me how every building got there.
Wait a minute. When did he take you around Washington, D.C.?
Michael, you missed it. He was in D.C. a few weeks ago, and we met up and hung out for about an hour.
Well, a little longer than an hour.
So
we walked around for like 3 hours, dude.
No. There was talk in the Discord. We tried to message you. Come on.
I have no knowledge of this.
I can neither confirm nor deny the receipt of these messages.
Wait a
All right. Okay, guys. We're gonna take this offline. Hopefully, all of us will survive this argument. We'll see. You know, we can also possibly film and get a cage match between Michael and Keith.
I want Jermaine to send us off. I don't want Marie. I want Jermaine to send us off.
I feel like, listen, fans, I think they're going to try and kick me out the group. That's what the cage match is for.
You've been too quiet.
I need to start fundraising for my shirt, t-shirt subscription.
Beam up your comments. Yeah, phaser the like button.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not going to ever say it on the internet. Yeah, never. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Wait. There was a shadow of a church.
Okay. What?
William has questionable ideas about what he puts. William has questionable ideas about what he puts on the internet.
Oh, I remember that episode.
Uh-huh.
I remember that episode. Yeah.
Wait. What? Wait.